¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo están todos y todas? Bienvenidos a Futuro a través de nuestras plataformas digitales, la radio del rock, la radio del rock and roll también, que se sigue moviendo y sigue teniendo actividad, pero a través de nuestras plataformas digitales. Y hoy día tenemos un invitado que es realmente un honor, un lujo y un placer personal, de verdad, poder estar junto a Roger Glover, el histórico bajista de Deep Purple y tantos otros proyectos. Mr. Roger Glover, welcome to Radio Futuro. Welcome to the Chilean audience. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you, and welcome to my world as well. This is it.
Let's talk about your world, actually, and how has it been to be in this process of lockdown, COVID? How turned your life in all this time?
Well, it's turned everyone's lives pretty much the same way. So some worse than others. We haven't. We're out of work for 2 years, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tour. But there's good sides and bad sides to everything. There's good sides and bad sides to the internet, to electric guitars, to all sorts of progress. So the good side, of course, is you spend more time with your family. I've got kids, and I'm not sort of jetting off around the world every 5 minutes. So that's nice for them. Yeah. I've had time. I'm working on writing a book, so I've had time to do that. I think I'm pretty lucky where I live. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are talking because you just released just a few weeks ago a new album, but it's the very first album with songs with the other people, the other musicians. It's a cover album. How does it feel to play that kind of music? It's a kind of tribute. I'm talking about Turning to Crime, the new record of Deep Purple. It's a kind of tribute to your heroes of each one.
Yeah, it's really what it was we just had to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't. We thought, well, let's do another album. We can't tour. Let's do another album. But to do an album, we've all got to be together to write it. Recording you can do remotely, but writing is done. Songs come out of jams. They come out of the playing. They don't come out of some kind of head game where you try and write a song and present it to the band. It's not like that. It's just it flows from the band. Yeah. That was impossible. So we couldn't write it, but we could record it. So what do we record? Well, there's only one other choice: other people's songs.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it, really. It was meant to be a kind of. It should have come out in the summer, certainly in Europe anyway, because it felt like a light-hearted album, and it's a happy album. But COVID means that even the record companies get backed up, so hence it's out now.
And it was easy, the selection of the songs. Well, you're many in the bands, many opinions, many suggestions. How was that process?
It was Bob Ezrin, who's produced the last 3 albums, studio albums.
Mm-hmm.
He's sort of become our leader in that respect. He's the conductor, if you like, the maestro.
Yeah.
And we had conference calls where we all had a chat about what we were going to do and how to do it. And he said, well, why don't you just send me, I don't know, a dozen or so of your songs that you want to, attack. Just why, doesn't matter for what reason, just it would be good for Purple. So we all did that. And of course, we ended up with, 50 or 60 songs to choose from. And then we did basically a vote. A blind vote. We all voted our top 10 or whatever it was, and then Bob Ezrin became the human algorithm, put it all together, and those 13 or 14 are what you get. That was it. Simple. Very democratic.
Yeah, very democratic, and many greatest artists: Cream, Booker T and the MGs, Freddie King, Bob Dylan. How does this approach to make a different version Bob Dylan song for Deep Purple?
Well, that was one of my suggestions. I think that I got about 4 in. We all got about that. Ian Gillan got none in. All his suggestions didn't make the vote. But that was one of mine because I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan and I've loved that song. And I thought, well, that's that could be a cool song to try. And then there's the original version, which is kind of a bluesy shuffle. And then there's a live version by Dylan, which is very, very fast. And I thought, well, because the whole idea is not just to cover a song, but to use the song to maybe different arrangement of it or add solos where there are none, that kind of thing. And I thought, well, let me try this at a different tempo. And the way we did it is we all did, I think Steve and Don Airy and myself, we did the demos for all the songs. And I did the demo for Watching the River Flow. And I was just toying around with tempos and grooves and stuff like that. And I just came up with actually, it was the original idea was a ska song. I thought, let's do a ska version of it. That didn't go down well with the drummer. So he just did, what he did over it. And actually, it sounds great. So, it was a fun project, I got to say. It was a lot of fun.
After, 50 years of career, for the very first time you became a covers band. And
yes.
What is your opinion about the covers band around the world? They are very criticized, not very good opinions for many people. What is your opinion about the covers bands around the world?
Well, there's 2 kinds really. There's covers bands and there's tribute bands.
Tribute band, yeah.
Tribute bands focus on one thing. They're either doing AC/DC or Queen or whatever, Beatles.
We have here in Chile a Deep Purple tribute band, covers band.
Yeah. Well, actually, I love them. I love them because we're not going to be around forever. And that music will live on through those musicians. And I think they represent, in a way, the future. So it's I've got nothing against tribute bands, and some of them are great. They're probably better than us, because they play them exactly true to the record. Well, we don't do that.
Yeah, and let's keep talking about this album, Turn to Crime, the new album from Deep Purple. Just different version. You use the songs and different ways, different arrangement, and. Spencer, David Groot, Fleetwood Mac. I was listening to the version of Fleetwood Mac. It's a really nice version.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And how was the process? You meet in the studio or to play, to jam around, all around?
In normal times, that's what we would do, yes. Mm-hmm. This particular time, I'm in the room I played the bass on. I played the bass right here. Okay. And Steve did the guitar in America, and Don did the keyboards in England, and so on. And so we all have these days a computer is a home studio. All you need is a mic and a few extra. It does everything you need. And so, as I said, we did demos of the songs, and doing the demo is really the challenge because you're in charge of what the band is going to do. So you can put a solo in and you can change things around and you can make additions that were never there. And then you send it to the band and see what comes back. It's actually a very illuminating experience. Steve did Oh Well. Oh Well. And it's pretty true to the song until it gets to the middle, and then typical Steve, it takes off on a journey into space somewhere and it goes in a completely different direction. And it's fun to do. But we couldn't do it all together. The only person who didn't have a home studio was Ian Gillan. So we had to wait until the travel restrictions were lifted so that at least he and I could get in a studio together and did the vocals. And we did that in England. We did it in Peter Gabriel's studio. Yeah. I was reading that. That was quite an honor and a privilege to see the private studio of Peter Gabriel. I've only met him once before. He's a very nice chap.
You always are doing many things, many albums. The last trilogy, your own songs. This album, Turn into Crime. You're always doing something. How do you connect with the new generation, the guys, the youngest guys in the world, around the world, 15 years, 17 years old? They are listening different kind of music, maybe not so much rock and roll as many years ago. How do you connect with the new generations?
Well, in a short answer, we don't. If they're willing, they connect with us. You know, we're not going to change what we do to attract a different generation, because we do what we do. That's it. You know. So we just have to be true to ourselves. And if people don't like it, that's fine. If people like it, that's even better. You know, it doesn't matter to us. I think we feel just very lucky to still be a viable band, still together, still working, and still having a lot of fun doing it. So that's the only feeling that I have. You've talked to the others, I don't know, but I'm just happy to do what we do. You know, I'm not aiming at an audience. In fact, we never did. We always went our own way, even if it's against the grain. You know, we started off as a kind of underground band, you know. No one would play the kind of music we were playing on the radio. But that changed, of course. And I guess we helped change it.
And are you listening new music, new kind of rock and roll from 21st century?
I listen to everything.
Okay.
I don't pick out rock and roll or like hard rock or heavy metal per se. In fact, usually I avoid that. But you know, of course, there's always new music around, and some of it's great, and there's lots of good musicians. The only problem really is not with the music, but with the way people think of music these days. Music is just another thing to do after the internet and Twitter and Tweezer and dot and Yik Yak and whatever they are. The social media, I mean, it's just, and following a band and caring about music is for a fewer group of people these days. Young people are having everything instantly at their command, and it has no value then. The value used to be in going to a record store and buying a new record after you'd saved up for a week and taking it home and putting it on and letting the music just envelop you. That doesn't happen.
Roger, did you watch the Beatles documentary Get Back? And if you see that, what is your opinion about this?
It's on my Christmas list.
Okay.
No, I haven't seen it yet. I've seen the reviews, and I've seen the odd little bit, on YouTube or whatever. And I think it's great because it shows the Beatles in a much better light than the original Let It Be did. Which, I mean, they had a good time despite all the stuff that was going on, you know. So it highlights that. That's as far as I know from the reviews. So, but I'm a huge Beatles fan, of course.
Is your favorite band, or you have others' favorite bands?
What's the best cup of coffee you ever had? Well, it was 1974. There's lots of music. I love music. I mean, how could you not love music? It's a wonderful. It's a wonderful thing to surround yourself with, and I'm very thankful. I've had a life full of music. So, but yeah, Beatles. I like a lot of African music. I like a lot of jazz, classical. Unusual. I mean, singer-songwriter is probably the top of the list because I'm a songwriter. Yeah. So I like to listen to people who have good lyrics and inventive ways of writing songs. It's easy to write a standard song. It's incredibly difficult to write a great song. But that's what I'm trying to do all the time. So I'm looking for things that stimulate me.
Finally, Roger, and you made a version of Cream, White Room, and a very good version. What is your opinion about the Eric Clapton situation now? His opinion, everybody is criticizing very much Rolling Stone magazine, etc. What is your opinion about his position in this time?
I don't know. I've only seen it as a news thing. I don't do social media at all, so I don't read all that stuff. I just read newspapers. And I saw some controversy about a while ago, but I didn't really get into it. So I don't have an opinion. People, it's about COVID or non-COVID, isn't it? Vax, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And anti-lockdown, basically.
Anti-lockdown, yeah. I have no opinion one way or other on that. I think that's what government is for, whether we trust them or don't. We have to have some kind of guideline, and that's the only one. If everyone had their own guidelines, it would be chaos. So we don't have a lot of choice about it. It's money versus life, isn't it? That's what it's down to. And I'd have to go for life. But yeah. I understand both sides.
Yeah. And the last question, Roger, you're gonna be on the road again? I think you just wanna be on the road again.
Yep. It's written in. Next year we hope to be on the road again. We start in February. And then there's a bit of a break, and then we carry on, I think, from about June all through to the end of the year around Greater Europe, anyway.
And South America?
And the following year, we're looking, further afield. So, if we're still around, we'll be there.
Okay, we will wait in here with the many fans you have here in Chile. You know about it. And
I do.
Thank you very much, Roger.
I do.
Congratulations for your new album, for your work for Whoosh too. Very good album too.
Thank you.
Let's keep rock.
Santiago is a great city. I enjoyed it there. It was great. I'd love to come back.
We know that. Bye.
Okay. Cheers, man. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Ahí está Roger Glover, lo despedimos y esta entrevista ya queda disponible en los canales del Futuro para que la vean las veces que quieran y agradeciendo nuevamente la compañía de este enorme Roger Glover. Que estén bien. Chao.